Roger Federer didn't just retire with trophies, he retired with a financial empire that today pays him more than his entire tennis career ever did. The paradox is striking. While most athletes see their income collapse after retirement, Federer found a formula to multiply his wealth. How did he do it? What financial moves made him richer now than when he dominated Wimbledon? Stay tuned, because this story redefines what it really means to win. Federer earned around $130 million in prize money throughout his career. Yet today, his annual off-court income easily surpasses $90 to $100 million. According to Forbes, in 2023, Federer was no longer on the list of highest-paid active athletes, but still ranked among the top 10 earners worldwide, without playing a single match. Athletic talent fades with time, but Federer's image became immortal. And here's the most impressive part. Federer planned all of this long before his final match. Federer once explained in interviews that he never saw tennis as the final stop. From the early 2000s, while still collecting his first big titles, he was already working with advisors to map a future beyond the court. That long-term thinking, rare for an athlete in his 20s, became the foundation of everything that came after. When we think of Federer, we think of 20 Grand Slam titles, nearly 1,500 professional matches, and effortless elegance. But if we look only at his earnings on court, the numbers are surprising. Throughout his career, he collected about $130 million in prize money. Sounds huge until we put it in context. Novak Djokovic has already surpassed $190 million in prize money, making him the highest earner in tennis history. Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo have accumulated over $1 billion each in career earnings, thanks to salaries, bonuses, and endorsements. So how does someone with $130 million in prize money belong in the billionaire club? The truth is that in tennis, prize money is just one piece of the puzzle. The tour is expensive. Travel, taxes, coaches, physios, training teams, it all adds up. It's estimated that elite players spend 35 to 40% of their prize winnings on operational costs. Federer understood this early on. Relying on prize checks alone would never build generational wealth. Many champions of his era ended with far smaller fortunes because they depended solely on match winnings. Federer began working with financial advisors and wealth planners when he was just in his early 20s, something almost unheard of for such a young athlete at the top. To put this into perspective, a single year on tour could mean over 250 days traveling, with entire teams to pay. Coaches, hitting partners, physios, nutritionists. Add global taxation, sometimes 30% or more depending on the tournament country, and that million-dollar prize check shrinks fast. Federer recognized this reality early and set out to make his image, not his match fees, his primary engine of wealth. This is where Federer started playing a different match, not against Nadal or Djokovic, but against time and finance. While his rivals focused on the next tournament, Federer was already building something designed to last long beyond a tiebreak. Federer realized something most athletes never do. Trophies are temporary, but image lasts forever. While others chase the next paycheck, he was carefully shaping a global brand built to outlive his career. Federer signed major endorsement deals early, but always selectively. He refused anything that might harm his reputation. His elegance, discipline, and consistency became his greatest asset. At his peak, Federer earned more than $90 million a year in endorsements, far exceeding his prize money. Luxury brands saw him as the perfect ambassador. Rolex paid millions not just for him to wear a watch, but to represent timeless precision. Wilson stood by him for over 20 years as his racket sponsor. Mercedes-Benz found in him the face of sophistication. Even Moet and Chandon made him the icon of exclusive champagne. While many athletes rotate sponsors every few years, Federer cultivated relationships that lasted decades. These long-term deals created stability, growth, and enormous value. But his boldest move was still to come, breaking with Nike, the brand that had defined him for more than 20 years. In 2018, the sports world was shocked. Federer, then 36 and nearing the end of his career, walked away from Nike to sign a $300 million deal with Uniqlo. The catch? It was guaranteed for 10 years, even if he got injured, stopped playing, or retired. Uniqlo wasn't paying for a champion. They were paying for a legend. That's $30 million annually, more than Federer ever earned in prize money in his best playing years. Contracts like Rolex since 2006 and Wilson since 1998 highlight how Federer's personal brand wasn't about quick cash. It was about endurance. These partnerships not only paid him, they elevated him into the world of luxury branding, putting him in the same conversation as the very products he endorsed. With that deal, Federer proved he was no longer playing tennis matches. He was playing legacy matches. and he was winning them all. Roger Federer wasn't satisfied being just a sports icon. He became a visionary businessman. In 2019, he acquired roughly 3% of On Running, a Swiss sneaker company. When it went public in 2021 with a valuation close to $15 billion, Federer's stake was worth over $375 million, according to Forbes and Bloomberg. Without hitting a single forehand, he earned more through equity than in many years at world number one. That was the moment Federer stopped being just a brand ambassador and became a co-owner of growth. He wasn't lending his image anymore, and he was building equity. But Federer didn't stop there. With his agency Team 8, he co-founded the Laver Cup in 2017, inspired by golf's Ryder Cup, Europe versus the rest of the world. In just a few years, it became a modern classic, with a premium aura that attracts elite sponsors and fans willing to pay for exclusivity. According to Sports Business Journal, by 2025, the Laver Cup expects to generate over $20 million in ticketing and hospitality, and another $20 million in sponsorships. Combined, those two sources make up more than 80% of the tournament's total revenue, making it both sustainable and luxury-driven. Federer didn't just create an event, he created an asset, a branded institution with long-term partners and a future far beyond his playing days. And here's the symbolic masterstroke, his personal logo, RF. For years it belonged to Nike, until Federer regained full ownership in 2020. By 2018, analysts estimated the logo's value at around $27 million, though that figure is historical. Taking it back wasn't just a financial win, it was a personal victory. RF is more than a monogram. It's proof that Federer isn't just an athlete, he's an eternal brand. On Running is now a global brand sold in over 60 countries, and the RF logo merchandise, like especially caps, regularly sells out within hours of release. These aren't just accessories, they're symbols of belonging to Federer's world of elegance and success. While other players chase their next title, Federer builds institutions and symbols meant to last decades. And in that game, no one comes close. Roger Federer's story isn't just about 20 Grand Slam titles. It's about someone who understood that the real championship begins when the sporting career ends. While many athletes watch their earnings collapse after retirement, Federer designed a model that makes him richer and more influential now than when he was lifting trophies. Federer evolved from player to icon, from brand employee to asset owner, from sports star to global entrepreneur. His transformation proves that success isn't measured only in titles, but in legacy. Today, Federer still earns over $90 million annually off the court through contracts, investments, and projects that will keep him relevant for decades. He no longer competes for matches, he competes for permanence. According to Forbes, Federer is among the few athletes to achieve billionaire status while alive, with most of his fortune arriving after retirement. Through the Roger Federer Foundation, he has donated more than $50 million to education projects in Africa and Switzerland, showing that his vision isn't only financial but also social. And here's the lesson. Federer didn't let the game define his story. He took control of it and created a life where his name is worth more than any title. His logo, his businesses, his tournaments, they all tell the same story. Discipline and long-term vision beat any limit. And the real question is, if Federer built an empire after retirement, what could you build if you start thinking long-term today? Federer's path is proof that wealth isn't just about money. It's about foresight. It's about turning today's opportunities into tomorrow's legacy. He reminds us that true greatness isn't defined by a career, but by the story you leave behind. If this story inspired you, don't stop here. On this channel, we dive into the strategies, habits, and master moves of the world's greatest visionaries in sports, wealth, and luxury. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and keep watching, because the next story might just change the way you see your own future.